Hi traders, I'm going to explain to you how to set up a trend line for twin exits using Trendline Trader Pro. So we've got MetaTrader here, we've got our JFX interface loaded. I'm going to go into MetaTrader and open a new chart. Let's open a cable chart. I'm going to go to, let's say, an hourly chart and make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to make sure I load the Trendline Trader Pro Expert Advisor onto every chart that I want to run automated trading from. I'm going to now draw a trend line through these swing low points here. I'm going to just highlight the trend line and look at its ID, and it's trendline 41641. I'm going to click on that trend line, go into my interface and select Trendline Trader Pro, and I'm going to make sure that the trend line here, trendline 41641, is selected in our trendline ID, which it is. So we're making sure that the interface can see the trend line first of all. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to configure this to be a touch-based trade behavior, and I'm also going to configure it to be a sell. And so now we can see our trigger grid is being put on the chart. So I'm going to just go to Properties and go to the Common tab in Properties and click Show Object Description so we can see what we're doing. Now we can see we've got a one take profit level and 20 pips and a stop at 20 pips. Now if I want to make two take profit levels, I need to first reduce the percentage of the first take profit level to say 50%, press enter. That will give us a default 50% second take profit level at 40 pips. I can change the levels here if I want to, either by clicking on spinners. So I'm reducing that second take profit level by using the spinners to say 30 pips, and you can see that level adjusting. In the same way, I can also change the first take profit level using the spinners. If you use the keyboard and you type in the actual level, make sure you press enter afterwards, otherwise it ain't gonna work, because JavaFX cannot detect typing in these spinner fields. The only way that a change will be committed is if you press enter, if you start editing manually. So if you do this and you don't press enter, nothing happens. So you can type whatever you want in here, you know, and nothing's gonna happen until you press enter. So you must hit enter every time you make a change to a spinner if you type into it. Next thing to do is adjust your sensitivity level. So if you want, the sensitivity level determines the trigger channel around this trend line. So at the moment we're using a 2 pip sensitivity channel. So if we go into this in a bit more detail, we will need price action to tick inside the channel created by this dotted line here, which is our sensitivity channel, and the trend line. So that's very important. And a trade will not trigger unless you get price action ticking inside this area here, which I'm highlighting with the mouse. I'm going round and round it. So very important. And that's really all there is to it in terms of setting up a twin exit trade using Trendline Trader Pro. To simulate a trade on this basis, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this trend line to a buy-based trade, which will move our take profit levels up and our stop loss down. And to just demonstrate the system working in detail, what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently increase this sensitivity channel so that price action ticks inside it, and you'll see a trade being triggered. So I'm just going to go into our sensitivity spinner here. Keep an eye on the experts tab in the terminal for errors if things don't work as you anticipate. So I'm just going to increase the sensitivity channel a tiny little bit until we get a trade. There you go. So the trade was triggered, and if we now go down to our trade tab here, you'll see we've got a 0.1 lots GBP USD, and what the system has now done, if we remove the trigger grid, you'll notice that you've got TP1 50% at our TP1 grid level, and our stop has also been put exactly at our stop level. So if we go back into the interface and turn the grid off, as it's only really used for pre-trade setup, you can now see our first take profit level and second take profit levels are set based upon our trigger grid, and we're good to go. So that is essentially how you set up a 2-exit trade using Trendline Trader Pro. Thanks for watching.